Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Mark Fullerton, who is a health and fitness expert and my buddy. Hey, Mark.
Nice to see you, Pete.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
I'm an expert now, right?
You are an expert now.
I'm like Richard Simmons, don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I think, I'm kind of like that, yeah.
Exactly. So
nice to see you.
You too. So let's open up tonight's topic, tonight's discussion. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been training and how long you've been a personal trainer for.
Well, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just like a gym rat. But I have taught spinning for 27 years at least.
Okay.
And that's my passion. I've never taken a break. I've taught somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 classes. I feel like they invented spinning for me because I don't like to ride in the cold. I see all those guys out there going by Starbucks every morning with their hats on and their gloves on and their booties on, and that's not for me. So I'm a fair weather cyclist, so when they invented spinning, probably like 30 years ago, I was like the first kid on the block like applying to get a spinning membership, and then I became a teacher, and I've been doing it ever since. I love it, yeah. I'm passionate about it. It's like you have music, you have camaraderie in the class, probably 20 to 30 bicycles in the class, a lot of energy, and an hour workout just seems to go by really quick. You can get, with a group of people and some good music, you can get your heart rate much higher than you could probably working out by yourself. And so there's just a million good things about it. It's more like being at a disco than it's like being in an exercise class. So
really?
Yeah. I teach at Iron House Fitness, and we have great stereo, great program, great bicycles. All the readouts tell you what your wattage is, tell you what your RPMs are, tell you how many calories you burned in a class, and and so it's like really exciting.
Now, how hard is it? What do you just come in, reserve a bike, come in, get on said bike and start pedaling?
Well, I mean, it's as hard as you want to make it because you control your own resistance. And on these new bikes that we have, it'll tell you a resistance between 1 and at least 25, maybe more. Okay. But so the cool thing is like you come into the class and you get what you want out of it. And I like to teach my class sort of like a HIIT class. And a HIIT class is just an acronym for high intensity training. Okay. So high intensity training, it means you're taking your heart rate anaerobic. Mm-hmm. And the difference between aerobic and anaerobic is anaerobic's over 85% of your heart rate max. And so once you get there, your body cannot put enough blood, put enough oxygen into the blood for you to sustain that. Mm-hmm. So when you're working out anaerobically, you're going to only be there for a little period of time. You're not going to be there forever because your body can't do it. But the reason to go there is the fountain of youth. It's like to stay young. So if you take yourself anaerobic, which is the torture zone in a class, right? That's the part that sucks. And then you do it for 15 or 20 seconds and then you back off. That's the HIIT workout, the high intensity training. And if you do that in the class, I always tell people that come to my class for an hour. And if you do 20 to 30 of these intervals, and during these intervals we go anaerobic, we make it hard for 20 seconds, right? And then you back off. But if you do 20 of them, then you might only burn 700 calories while you're in the class. Okay. But you're burning 1,500 calories on the recovery. So that's like 2 bonus classes that you took just because you suffered 20 times. Okay. So that's why it's a HIIT workout.
And obviously with the HIIT work, now you guys want to, when you're doing the class, you guys want to basically do the HIIT workout, then tone it down for 20 seconds and then...
Well, so what I do is I let the music teach the class. So if you have a song, like typically a song will have 3 choruses, typically. Yeah. And the song will be 4 minutes. So in 4 minutes, you'll do 3 choruses. The choruses are anywhere between 15 and 25 seconds. So I just drop it there and tell people to either turn up their resistance or pick up the cadence so that they go to their uncomfortability zone, their discomfort, the suck zone, to there. So if they do that, which I can't make them, but if they do, then they get that 2 extra classes, calorie burn, recovering from having done that. So I try to drive them to do that, but if you don't want to do that, nobody knows because you're just on
Right.
your own bike looking, you know?
Right.
But I think like the music is sort of an asset to getting there. And check this out. This is a cool thing I learned like 5 years ago. People that suffer from anxiety,
Yep.
right? If they do an anaerobic workout, if they take their heart rate past that 85% max, their brain cannot produce whatever it is that makes anxiety for like 5 hours after. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I don't know.
Right.
So it could be 4.5 hours, I don't know, but it's a really long time. Like,
wow.
so if you're anxious and you do a high intensity training workout, you can't even make yourself anxious after that. So,
Really? Cool.
yeah, so, and I've suffered from that. So like, I think that, and it's true. And I remember when I was suffering from that, that I did spinning classes every day because I was like, I knew that after I left, like my body wouldn't produce anxiety for 5 hours. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
didn't
impressive,
know
right?
That definitely is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Now, as far as the,
Oops,
that's okay. Whoa, you're breaking the place.
sorry, breaking your furniture.
Let's talk about the muscle atrophy.
Muscle atrophy?
That's what I'm
After
on.
50?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah. So
I can't say it.
Yeah, once you get to be 50, you lose about a pound of muscle a year just because you're getting older, right? But the thing people don't know is before the muscle atrophies, you lose much more strength. So you're losing 3 times the strength after 50 that your muscles have than the muscle is atrophying. It's the strength is going 3 times faster. So if you don't do resistance exercises, and resistance exercises don't have to be weight training, they're just the obvious ones, you know? So you could use your body for resistance exercises, as long as you go to the point where you're fatiguing the muscle, and the best way to do it is taking the muscle to failure, which means you can't do another repetition.
Right.
Okay, so if you do that, you've broken down some muscle. If you go to the point of failure, you break the muscle has to repair itself, so it gathers up the proteins, repairs itself, and that adds muscle to your body. So that's how it works. But if you don't do that and you're 50, then by the time you're 60, you've lost 10 pounds of muscle and you've lost, you know, more strength than muscle. So I mean, maybe one of the things you like to do, maybe just going out and mowing the grass or something like that, you will get to the point where you can't do it faster because you didn't do resistance training. So, you know, it's not like you're going in there because you want to like bodybuild or anything like that. You just want to do everything you love to do longer in life, you know? Take it into your 80s, take it into your 90s, because your life's going to not be as rich as it was if you don't do the resistance exercises.
Right.
Right. It's true.
It is. Now, how much fun is spinning class?
Oh my God. Spinning class is like, it's the fastest. Yeah, it's the best. You know, COVID killed spinning because everybody's afraid to get germs.
Right.
But it's kind of, I think the last time I was on with you, I said it's still dead.
Right.
But it's coming back to life right now.
Oh, is it?
It's not full back to life, but it's you know, it's not even half, but it's better than it was. Yeah, it's good.
You think it's going to come back to the full circle of?
I hope so. I mean, I'm trying to get people to come back out, but it's you know, the thing about spinning classes is they're fun with 8 people in the class, but they're unbelievable with 20 people in the class. And anybody who's span before, that's the proper term of having done a spin class, is span.
Span?
Yeah, having span. Then they just love it. They do. It's addicting. It really is.
Now, what is the minimum for a spinning class? What is the maximum for a spinning class?
Money?
No, people.
Effort? Oh.
People.
So I have actually taught 5 spinning classes in my life with just me because nobody showed up. And I was already dressed for the occasion, so I did it. I've had a dozen spinning classes with one person, in which case I get out of the instructor bike, I go sit right next to him, and we just gossip about other people in the class and say nasty things about people, yeah. And I've had hundreds of classes with 2 people in the class, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's got to be fun.
No,
No.
The best is
The best is one-on-one?
is better than two, because like if you get 8 people in your spinning class, 3 people are doing whatever they want to do. So you only have 5 people doing what you're telling them to do.
Right.
So if you get 2 people in your spinning class and one's not doing what you want them to do and one is, it's weird. It's just,
Yeah, no kidding.
the more the better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe the one-on-one attention is better because you can sit there and
Yeah, I mean,
pedal and talk and
it used to be. You go back like 5-6 years ago before COVID, and instructors would give up their bikes because there were 5 people on the waiting list, and we'd rather have more people in the class. And it wasn't like we needed another spin class, so we'd give up the instructor bike, and then we would just walk around and give individual instruction to everybody as we go. So,
cool.
Yeah, most instructors will do that
will you do that?
sometimes.
Okay. Okay. Now, what is intermittent fasting?
So the only reason like I thought we'd talk about that was because, you know, so many people are doing it today, intermittent fasting, and it's just a thing that a lot of people have subscribed to doing to lose weight, mostly to lose weight.
Okay.
But there's some other benefits to it. It detoxifies you a little bit.
Okay.
It's healthy. It lowers your blood pressure a little bit. It just gives your body a chance to like cleanse itself and not have to have all of your organs processing stuff. So there's 6 different ways to intermittent fast.
Okay.
And it just means not eating for a period of time. And one of the best ways is don't eat anything after dinner, don't eat breakfast, and then eat around lunchtime. Right? And so in that case, you probably have not eaten anything for 15 or 16 hours, right? And so your body can just chill and not have to like process things and everything. And in the meantime, you've lowered that window that you eat now to like 6 or 7 hours instead of 12 or 15 hours,
Right.
you know? So you're not going to eat as many calories. And if you start intermittent fasting, like it only sucks for a week before you're not hungry in the morning anymore.
Right.
And most people that do it will skip that morning meal. So unless you really love that morning meal, then it's pretty easy to do. It's kind of painless. And if you can take it from instead of 12 to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, maybe push it a little bit, then it's good. And so it's just a way. But another way of intermittent fasting is to take 1 day a week and not eat for 24 hours. I've never been able to do that.
No.
Yeah, I can do it all the way up until like dinner time, and then I'm eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the crazy people out there who can actually do it for 2 days, and that's supposed to be really healthy for you, but I'll never find out.
Oh, no, me either.
Right.
Me
So, but that's just a thing that everybody's doing, you know, as a new fad to, because this sort of breakfast thing, you got to eat breakfast, and you got to eat a lot of carbohydrates for breakfast But you know what? Number one thing I would tell somebody who wants to be healthier.
Yep.
Just the number one thing I would say. If you could only do one thing, workout, nutrition, whatever you do, don't eat sugar. Just no sugar.
Yep.
You know. The second thing, resistance exercises. But if I could only say one, sugar. Just no sugar. That's the worst thing you could do. Sugar is so addicting. It's so bad for you.
Right.
It's horrible. So if you can, you know, somehow figure out a way to like slow it down and then cut it off and then not do it, you know,
Right.
it's really healthy for you to stop doing that.
Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Whether it's a snowstorm, tropical storm, or flood, protect yourself from storm chasers after a natural disaster with these tips from Better Business Bureau. Assess the damage and take pictures. Contact your insurance company immediately. Make minor repairs that will limit further damage to the home and save all of your receipts. Do not make any permanent repairs until you get approval from your insurance company. Many municipalities require door-to-door contractors to have a solicitation permit. Ask to see it. Resist high-pressure sales and don't hire a contractor on the spot. Do research first at bbb.org. Don't sign over insurance checks to contractors. Get an invoice and pay them directly with a credit card. Stagger payments as the work is being completed. Be careful allowing someone you do not know to inspect your roof and other areas of your house you can't see. An unethical contractor may create damage to get work. And always look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, standing here with Mark Fullerton.
I was standing.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I was pulling down my pant leg. It was riding up on me.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So before the break, we talked about intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's maybe get in a little bit more detail about intermittent fasting. Then we're going to talk about a proper diet.
Yeah. So I mean, intermittent fasting is a tool you can use to lower your calorie intake during the day. So if you can just if you can lower the window of hours that you eat to make it 4 or 5 hours during the day, right? And maybe you're going to eat twice during that window. You're going to find out that instead of eating 2,500 calories a day, maybe you're only eating 1,800 calories during those 2 meals. So it's just a way of lowering your calorie intake, because you can get to the point where it's kind of painless to you to have your first meal of the day after 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And so that's just a way to lower your calorie intake. And plus, not give your organs, your liver, and everything that processes all the food you eat, like a little vacation, a little break to
Right.
chill out. But then diet is a whole nother thing.
Okay.
Like what you eat.
Right.
And so if you're doing resistance exercises and you're trying to build muscle, you should be getting almost 1 gram of protein for every pound you weigh.
Okay.
So if you weigh 150 pounds, you need 150 grams of protein in a day.
Okay.
Your body can only metabolize, can only intake and use probably between 35 and 50 grams of protein in one single meal.
Okay.
So if you were to try to get that 150 grams of protein in one meal, it's not going to it's going to pass through you, and your body's going to absorb 35 to 50 of them.
Right.
So in order for you to rebuild that muscle that your body wants, if you're going to try to get 150 grams of protein in your body, then you're going to have at least 3 meals
Right.
where you have protein. And so on every meal that you have, even the vegans, you should have protein in every meal.
Right.
And then there should be some good complex carbohydrates, and there should be things that make you full, some fats, some good fats. Olive oil is a good fat. And so if you can just balance that out with a reasonable amount of food, because to get 35 to 40 grams of protein, I think you only need 4 to 6 ounces of chicken.
Right.
You don't need a giant plate of food.
No.
And so the best thing to do is just to balance it out, have all the nutritional value on your plate, and then eat it slow. And then if you're still hungry, kind of wait, give yourself 15 minutes. And then if you're still hungry after 15 minutes, then have a little more. But
Right.
our problem is today is we make all our food yummy. We make
Yes.
all our food delicious. And then because it tastes so good, we have 3 portions of it in 20 minutes.
Right.
And then we're stuffed out of our skulls. And
Yes.
we've eaten 1,500 calories on one meal. And and we've ruined everything that we did earlier in the day by working out and intermittent fasting and everything like that. So the best thing is just go slow and have everything be healthy. And then cut that portion real low. I mean, if you're trying to lose weight.
Right.
I mean, if you're not trying to lose weight, eat. But if you're trying to lose some weight and not eat as many calories, just give yourself 15 minutes after you eat. If you're still hungry 15 minutes after you eat, have a little more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
But number one thing we talked about already, no sugar.
Right.
Right? Obviously, you're going to get some sugars because they're naturally in fruits.
Right.
But pick your fruits wisely, because not all fruit is like your friend.
Right.
Some fruits are higher in sugar. The safe ones are, the best ones are berries and
Blueberries,
apples.
blackberries.
Blueberries,
raspberries.
blackberries, raspberries are okay. Blueberries, blackberries probably number one.
Yeah.
To me, because the sugar that they have in those 2
Yeah.
berries are worth it.
Right.
because of the antioxidants and everything else that you get. So you get a little sugar, but you get a lot more things that are healthy for you within those things. Whereas if you go to mangoes or bananas, I know everybody thinks bananas have potassium, but so does broccoli.
Yeah.
So
And bananas are probably loaded with sugar.
it's funny.
Is it?
The ripe ones are. Yeah.
Okay.
If you eat them a little bit green, they don't have as much sugar, but they don't taste real good, do they? But
No.
those real ripe ones, yeah. You know what's interesting about bananas that has nothing to do with nutrition?
What?
They've been the same price for 30 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
69 cents a pound 30 years ago, 69 cents a
69.
pound today. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
It is.
It's true.
It is. It is true. Now let's talk about time under tension.
Oh, so this is my favorite thing. So one of the things, if you want to gain muscle, and believe me, like if you want to gain muscle and like you're going to do things that would help you gain muscle, you're not going to change into this crazy muscular person that you hate because you're too muscular. It's impossible to do. So gaining muscle is a good thing, right? So one of the things your body responds to as far as gaining muscle is time under tension. So if you just take, like, for instance, I do push-ups.
Yeah.
And instead of like doing 100 push-ups, I do 10-second push-ups.
Okay.
And so it's 5 seconds down and it's 5 seconds up. And because of the time under tension, like the amount of time that you're under that tension, muscles respond to breaking down a lot faster by doing the time under tension than they do just ripping out a set of 70 push-ups or whatever you can do. So whether you're doing pull-ups, whether you're doing push-ups, whether you're doing curls, whatever you're doing, if you just slow down, keep your form right, and do them ridiculously slow. I mean, you think it's ridiculous to do a 10-second curl, but like if you do, you'll notice that you can keep the weight light so you don't hurt yourself, no injuries, and that you still get the fatigued muscle afterwards. So that'll build muscle too. And you can do it a lot easier with a lower weight.
Now, who should avoid impact workouts?
So I like to talk about this because when you see people running down the street of Old Saybrook,
Yes.
right?
Like we do in the morning.
Yeah, everybody.
Yes.
Like 98% of those people shouldn't be running. And that's me. But I mean, I'm not the authority on that. Running's a good way to go out for 30 minutes and get a good workout, right?
Right.
But if you're over 30 years old and you don't look like a gazelle when you're running, I mean, we see the gazelles go by, you know.
Yes.
I look at them and I go like, oh my God, run forever. Like you should run because
Yes.
you look so good doing it. But the people that look like they're suffering are destroying their backs, they're destroying their knees, they're destroying everything. That suffering is truly suffering, and they shouldn't do it. Get a bike. You know,
Yeah.
there's a million things out there that you can do that don't have that impact. And I was told to stop running at 37, and because the doctor was going to replace my knee. So I switched over to biking, and I started biking so much that I bridged a lot of the arthritis and the bone on bone with muscle through biking that I don't need any replacement today.
Really?
And yeah, and that was 23 years ago. So I think that just as you get older, like low impact workouts will be better for you. Like if you're a diehard runner, I mean, you can still run, but if you're heavier than you're supposed to be, like get a different sport, really.
Right.
You know, like I'm not the authority on that, but you should run if you're skinny.
Right. Now, why working on your core is the best thing for your back?
Oh, because most people have like lower back problems because they thought they would be good runners.
Okay.
Right? And then their back hurts. So the best thing for your back, because I built 1,000 feet of stone walls when I was in my 30s, and I slipped 2 discs, and I was crippled, and yoga kind of pulled me out of that and got me strong again. But what I realized is that a really strong core is the antidote, the medicine for a strong back. And it gives you more stability, it gives you more balance, it gives you better flexibility, it gives you everything. So while everybody's out there, like, you know, their back is ailing them and they want to do something about it, you can do it right in your kitchen. You can do it, just do a plank.
Right.
You know, drop down, do a plank, do planks, make planks a habit. There's a million other things to do. I do planks on a giant ball this big and I roll it around so that I get my obliques and everything.
One of those big
too.
exercise balls?
Yeah, yeah. You just,
okay.
you instead of doing the plank where you're down on the floor like this, you hold on to that great big ball and you just like roll it around, but your legs are out like you were doing a push-up.
Okay.
And it's so unstable that your body's like firing off all these abdominal things that you're doing. And I was able to, in doing that, so when I was cycling and I'd hurt my back, I had to get a handlebar riser so I didn't bend over so much. And then I got my core so strong that I was able to get rid of that handlebar riser and low back down where I could go in the drops again. And stay in the drops where I was really bent over. And so I was younger when I was 50 than I was when I was 35.
Wow.
As far as what I felt like. you know, because I had worked on my core. So.
Now, what if you're on one of those balls doing your exercises? You ever feel like you're going to fall off it or slide off the thing? And
yeah, you're really bad at it in the beginning, and then there's a learning curve. It's like the first time you go skiing.
Right. Oh yeah.
Do you think you're going to fall?
No.
You know you're going to fall.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went skiing with my family. Mm-hmm. I knew I was going to fall, but when I fell, mm-hmm. my right ski came out of the boot. So I'm like, oh no, what do I do? All right, so you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna bail out. I'm gonna throw myself down on my back mm-hmm. and slide down the mountain.
That's one way down.
That's one way.
You gotta get down.
And I figured out if I did it, mm-hmm. and I did it the way I wanted to do it, I was gonna be wrapped around a tree.
Yeah.
With some ice down underneath the snow.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that either. So let's take the safe route. Let's just
go down on your butt.
Go down on your butt. And
yeah. It's a good way to do it.
You'll get it out.
I've done that myself.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we're out of time. That's a half hour. Thanks, dude.
Anytime. My pleasure.
You got it. On behalf of Mark Fullerton, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.